Jayber in the First Descendant is probably on the bottom of everybody's lists. And there's good reason for that. But with this build, Jayber just can't die. Solo, in group, whatever the Colossi, this dude can face tank them. Let's get into it.
Tux makes it exciting!
Hey, I want to start off with a quick side note about Jayber. So Jayber's currently and has been deployed with some bugs, so some of his things aren't working right. We'll get into it in the back half of this video, exactly what is not working, but this build is designed to take advantage of what is working. He has a weapon damage buff coming from his turrets. It's not being applied to the build correctly, but we still have amazing DPS, and so the way I see it, when that is fixed, he's only going to get better. More on that later.
Let's do this!
What I'm going to do here is just a couple of casual things. So I'm not trying to speed run Dead Bride or anything like that, but I'm just going to stand in her snow cone, whatever you want to call it, frenzy, and just stand there and take it while I'm taking damage from her, while I'm taking damage from her minions. And you will see that you can survive. You don't even have to try to escape that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Pyromaniac. So he does those bands of fire. He's got his flamethrower sword thing, whatever he's got. And I can just stand there and take it. That means you can focus all of your time on pumping out DPS. Even against Swamp Walker, as he's bombarding you with his toxic, you can just stand there and focus on your DPS. With other Descendants, you might have to tuck and roll, dodge, whatever it is, you have to stop shooting. So I'm toying with her on purpose just to demonstrate his survivability, but the DPS is there. So hopefully you can see the numbers nice and clearly. And we're running best in class damage mods on both the Enduring Legacy and the Descendant. I got the shot focus or whatever it's called, and I'm also running the Passionate Sponsor, which is unusual. There's not very many Descendants that can run that, and that's giving me 75% more weapon damage. Well, when I'm in group, but when I'm playing solo, I'm not getting that buff. So you're not seeing those damage numbers here, but I will have more gameplay footage at the back end of this video, and I'll demonstrate me playing in group. And believe it or not, I still have the same survivability even in group. So this isn't me flexing or anything like that. This is just a demonstration of his survivability and how many punches he can take. And that being said, it makes the game extremely easy. I have all of the Descendants now, and many of them are fully loaded, including Enzo. He's my typical go-to when it comes to boss scene. But when I feel like just kicking back and putting my feet up, I go to Jayber, because I can just stand there and hold down on the trigger, whether I'm solo or in group, whether I'm fighting Pyromaniac, Dead Bride, Swamp Walker, Frost Walker, even Molten Fortress. The Obstructor's really easy. Devour's really easy. I mean, everybody's easy. I haven't completed Gluttony yet, so I don't have any great footage of that, but I have tried him in there because I understand Gluttony's got some really hard punches, but we can take his punches up to a certain point. Eventually, he does bring me down. So he does hit harder than all of the others. So obviously, there are limitations to what Jayber can take, but the point is he can take more than I would say most. I didn't want to edit this footage, and I'm just kind of casually standing here and shooting the minions, kind of buying time so that she can do her frenzy as many times as she likes on me. But hopefully you see what I'm trying to put down.
Let's do this!
At a high level, what Jayber does is he summons turrets. These turrets could do damage, or they can heal, or you could have one of each. And they do a damn good job of pulling aggro from any NPC and even the Colossi. So I'm running the basic setup, which is giving us a damage turret and a healing turret. And their stats are a little bit different, but I'm not gonna focus too much on the damage turret. We are building mostly into the healing turret, and for plenty of reason. But the biggest one being is that when we buff our teammates, we get more DPS. And his DPS is pretty darn good, I gotta say, because we're able to use Passionate Sponsor, which gives us 75% more weapon damage, and there's not very many Descendants that can use this, on top of Shot Focus. So these are Descendant modules. So the only thing we're using the Assault Turret for is to be a decoy, to attract aggro and collect enemies, and it does a really good job whether you're doing special ops missions or fighting Colossi. So that's what it's for. So Jayber's passive is Turret Sync. That's gonna give you 20% firearm attack increase and skill power increase. But right now, this isn't working correctly. So you are getting a weapon boost, but it appears to only be a 10% additive boost, and it's supposed to be a 20% multiplicative. So this isn't working. So there's also your number 4, where you can basically detonate your turrets, and it has a massive area of effect, damaging anybody around them. But let's take a closer look at the medical turret. Don't worry about the unique weapon thing. We're not doing that. The mod turret engineering disables it. More on that in a moment. So we got a 38-second cooldown. So there's cooldowns and durations, but the reality is that he's got a forever turret. These turrets can be up 100% of the time. The medical turret is going to heal at max HP at 2.1% every 1.5 seconds. And then I've built into radius. So it's got a 17.2 meter radius of heal. And that's really important because as long as you're buffing or healing a teammate, even if they don't need heals, if they're standing in the zone, then you're getting your passionate sponsor buff. So it's very easy to maintain that 75% weapon damage. The maximum expandable range is 200%, and we're right up against that. We're at 186%. So what's really cool about the turrets is they're very hard to kill. So the medical turret's 150% of my HP. 150% of my shield, and 90% of my defense. Primarily what I've done here is I've given as much weapon damage as I possibly could while minimizing all of the skill damage, maximizing the range. From there, I make him tanky. And then I slap on some duration, which is just a quality of life thing. Turret engineering first. When using skill, recovers the HP of all summoned turrets and extends their duration. So number 3. He's talking about his number 3. But they do not switch to enhanced mode. Enhanced mode has to do with the special weapon, and this takes the place of that special weapon. That special weapon is really annoying. I wish I could use medical compulsion, which gives you double healing turrets. But in my opinion, it's really annoying to maintain your turrets with his special weapon. And what turret engineering does is allow you to refresh your duration and repair your turrets at the tap of a button. And so all the cooldown and the duration into the build is sort of a quality of life stat so that I'm not constantly pressing that button. Also, when you press that button, it does cost you MP. So the longer the duration you have, then the more you're getting out of your mana bar. And the reason why I have the cooldown is that I want that number 3, that turret refresh, to be on the ready when I need it. And so currently the way it's configured, it's perfect because you don't want to constantly interrupt your DPS process with having to refresh your turrets. Got long distance maneuvering. I didn't put a catalyst here. You can. And then I'm running shot focus. I know some of you don't have this, but you can get it by combining cerulean mods, but this is giving this firearm attack 15% and it's diminishing our skill power, and that's okay. We're gonna do that. So we're taking down all of the skill power and we're leveraging it for duration and weapon damage and whatnot. So passionate sponsor is the other damage to his weapon talent that we have. So when buffing or recovering an ally, firearm attack and skill power modifier 7.5% each for 10 seconds, up to 10 stacks. So that's 75% more damage to each. Our turrets aren't putting out much damage. You know, it is what it is. But for the weapon, it's amazing. You will feel this. And that's why you want range. You want to always be buffing your allies if you can. But if you're not, you don't need to panic. Your DPS is still going to be really good. So turret placement is key. A quick tip: you don't have to be in your heals. If you're playing a defense mode, like a special operation, plant your heals in a convenient spot for whoever's defending the objective, and then you can go run around and you can manage your turret with turret engineering. So pressing your number 3 from way far away. You do not have to be near your turrets to manage your turrets. Okay, so we have skill expansion, again, more range, increased HP. So take advantage of every HP stat you can. So that's 218. We have max HP here at the cost of shield. So I'm minimizing my shields as much as possible. I'm face taking Colossus and bosses with Jayber. So his shields are basically worthless. No matter what, they're gonna break your shields. So I don't mind losing them, but I'm definitely not gonna build into them because his shields are always gonna be broken. And you're cool with that. That's part of the gameplay strategy. Do not worry about your shields. They're gonna go. But I know you kind of get that panicky feeling when you hear the chime that your shields are broken, but don't sweat it. That's part of the way he's gonna work. And then I got a shield conversion here. So more defense at the cost of shields. And then I'm maximizing the duration at the cost of skill power. So I'm gonna pause here and let you know that this one is flexible. I really like the high duration because I don't wanna have to constantly manage my turrets, press that button and kind of feel anxious about it. So this just gives me a lot of time to roam freely, do my DPS, pick people up, do what I gotta do, and then just tap that number 3 periodically. So I got increased defense here, as you would imagine, and then maximize range, more range. This is huge range. Skill effect range at 94% at the cost of power. Of course, we are not worried about power. And then I got skill cooldowns here with time distribution with max HP at 52.4%. And then skill effect range if I didn't already show this. And so if we look at his stats here, he's got 24,000 plus in defense and 26,000 plus in HP. There's some room, at least on the defense side. He could actually have more defense than this. And then I minimized his shield, and he's kind of low on the mana side. So once you deploy your skills, you don't use a lot of mana. You're only using it when you hit your number 3 to repair your turrets and drones. You can run out of mana during Colossi fights. It is important to make sure you pick up a blue from time to time and keep an eye on your mana bar. But if your turrets go down, you are okay. Do not worry. You are super tanky. Even without your turrets, you are very hard to kill. You can run whatever reactor because we're not playing into any skill damage. It's the substats that you really want. Now, the top ones for me are skill duration and HP heal modifier. Other good options are skill range, skill cost, and if you had to, cooldown. But cooldown's not really a deal here. For the auxiliary power, I have double HP. So when it comes to external mods, what you want to do is prioritize HP and defense, and then your element resistance, and then MP if you had to, but do not work in shields. Sometimes you're going to have to, but it is not a priority. Shields are not a priority. And then we have max HP, HP recovery modifier, so that's stronger heals, and then more chill resistance. And then I have max HP here, electric resistance, and defense. Now this one could be better. I would love some god roll stats here, but we're okay with the rare stats for now. The Slayer processor, I'm running max HP with max toxic resistance, and then we just have the shield recovery because what else is there? Let's look at the weapons.
Let's do this!
My weapons of choice. For Colossi fights, it's the Enduring Legacy for all the right reasons. This weapon is a beast. Now, it's not perfect on the attributes here. I'm still working on it, but as you know, it's very expensive. So I got crits, fire attack, and then bonus attack to Colossi, but I'm missing general firearm damage there. I wish I had it. We're running the core rifle reinforcement, action reaction, and then better insight for more crits. I'm running sharp precision, and I really like this mod. So you decrease by 20%, but you hold down that trigger, you're gonna get more fire rate, more recoil decrease, and more weapon damage every half a second up to 10 stacks. I really like that combination. The thing just gets crazy fast, but it also gets really stable. And for me, that's really helpful for hitting those weak points, especially the small ones that are on Colossi's back. Allows you to hone in on those and just whack it. So better concentration for crit damage, concentration priority for more crit damage at the cost of reload. So this makes your reload really slow. You can bypass your reload animation. Just wait to around the 3/4 mark and then interact with your skill, tuck and roll, use your grappling, whatever, start shooting. Any of those will work. Concentration support. So rounds per magazine. So what I want here is a lot of sustained damage. So I put in a really big mag. So bigger mag, a little bit of crit damage. Insight focus here for more crits. And then we got fire rate increase, then expand weapon charge for more mag. So looking at the stats, we have a very large mag. That's 205 rounds. So that means you're only gonna reload once before you run out of ammunition. For mobbing, I don't use the LMG. I use the Thunder Cage. It pairs up really nicely with him. I'm still working on it, so it doesn't have all of the things min-maxed yet. So as you can see here, my Thunder Cage is fully leveled up, so it's in the overcharged state. I got crit damage, weak point damage, and then bonus firearm attack. So it's by no means perfect, but it's doing the job. So I have electric enhancement and then electric priority. So I'm loading up there. Action, reaction, rifle reinforcement, expand weapon charge. So a bigger mag because I just get sick of reloading. Fire rate up, more RPM, more DPS. Insight focus, more crits here with better insight. And then I really enjoy firing Fiesta. They give you a very small mag, and I'm used to like having 50 round mags on my submachine guns. This one only has like 25, I think, at base. And so we've built it up to have 38 rounds in the mag. And with firing Fiesta, it's like you have a gigantic mag. And when you're taking on those more difficult dungeons, like in the fortress area, all they throw at you are big tanky dudes. So this is extremely nice against them. And because the SMGs have such a small mag, you're always reloading, and I feel like that limits you on what you can do for special mods. So this is my favorite one for the Thunder Cage, but definitely flexible there. You don't have to run this. You don't have to run a special mod at all, and you could just min-max your crits all the way. Otherwise, that's where I'm headed. Min-maxing my crits. I might put a reload modifier here to make the reload even faster. But right now it's at 1.82 seconds, which isn't bad. And with firing Fiesta, it's a non-issue now. 3 seconds of unlimited ammo is huge. And when you roll into this fully, that cooldown drops into 15 seconds. So we need to talk about the current state of Jayber's character.
Let's do this!
So let me take a quick moment and discuss the state of Jayber in the game right now. So he's been deployed with some bugs, so not all of his abilities are working as intended. That has put Jayber mentally at the bottom of a lot of people's lists. And I get it, that's a little discouraging. And when I found that out, he wasn't at the top of my list either. But that's a bummer, right? I don't think they should have any Descendant with bugs like this. So with this build, he does what it's intended to do really well. Basically face tank anything. Be very hard to kill. You can take him into just about any content and come out the other end as a strong survivor. And he's not all tank, he's putting out some darn good DPS. Now let's discuss how Jayber is designed around his kit. I really like this build, and it makes the game extremely casual. You're very strong. You don't have to move. You can just stand there and shoot at the boss. It makes it all very easy. Solo, in group, whatever. However, what he's not is very interesting. Like Glaive, for example, is very interesting. She's got some very unique things going. She's like a puzzle to figure out, and there's so many different ways to play her. But with Jayber, partly because he's broken, you're kind of pressed into going the heal route. More importantly, his number 3 is so annoying to use, it just doesn't feel like it's worth it. So you basically have to pull out this gun and, you know, shoot your own turret, and by the time you're done shooting both turrets, you have to wait for your cooldown and then do it all over again. There is no downtime on that mechanic. These turrets, when they're in sync, are giving you more weapon damage, or they're supposed to, and you don't have time to actually use that weapon damage. So that's why I think turret engineering, the mod, is the best for him, but that needs to be reworked. So there's the bugs, and his number 3 needs to be reworked because it is the way it is. Turret engineering, I feel like, is the only mod that I can recommend at this stage for Jayber, and that takes away from his build diversity, that makes him less interesting, but he still is highly effective. So I still recommend doing Jayber. Like, if you want a really nice casual bossing build or character that can just do anything in the game, then here you go. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for The First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.